Hello and welcome to the Walking Talking Topic on volume question number 4 with me, Mr. Barton. Right, what's happening here? An ornamental garden spike, flippin' heck, there it is there, is in the form of a square-based pyramid, there's that, with a cone attached to the centre of the base as shown below. The radius of the cone is 4. Now it's a bit tiny, this diagram, but that's that little bit going across there is 4. The height of the cone, the height of the cone is twice the height of the pyramid. Now that's a little bit awkward because it's not actually told us what they are. So let's call my height of my pyramid H, and my height of the cone is twice as big, so let's call that 2H. The volume of the cone is equal to the volume of the pyramid. They love a bit of that. Right, part A, calculate the length of the base of the pyramid. So that's that bit there, and let's call that B that we're trying to find. Now, it's slightly awkward, this question, in the sense that we don't know what the heights are, but that actually works out quite nice because it means things start to disappear and we don't have to worry about nasty decimals a bit later on. This is the kind of question that scares a lot of students, and it's scaring me a little bit because I'm not entirely sure I'm going to get this right, but let's work it through step by step and see how we go. So we know the volume of the cone is equal to the volume of the pyramid. So let's work out the volume of the cone. Let's get the volume of the pyramid as best we can and see if we can go anywhere from there. So I'm going to take my cone. What's my volume of a cone? Well, we've used this a few times today. That's 1/3 pi r squared times by my h. Okay, what do I know there? Well, I know what my radius is, and I kind of know what my height is, so that's not too bad. So I get 1/3 pi times by 4 squared times by, and just be careful, my height is 2h. Now, what can I do with that? Well, I know what 4 squared is 16. And I can do 16 times 2h is going to be 32h. So I can get 1/3 of 32h. I can actually tidy that up a little bit, because 1/3 of 32 I'm just going to write as 32 over 3 pi. So my volume of my cone I'm going to leave as 32 over 3 pi. Now let's take my pyramid. Now it's a little known fact how you work out the volume of any pointy shape that's a pyramid. And basically what you need to do is you need to get your area of your base, you times it by your height, and you divide your answer by 3. Or do 1/3 base times height if you prefer. So what is my volume of my base? Well, I've got a length of B, and it's a square, so that's going to be B as well. So I'm going to get B squared. Times by my height, well, I'm just going to call that H, and divide my answer by 3. So my volume of my pyramid is going to be B squared H over 3. Now I know that those two volumes are the same. So I know that B squared H over 3 is going to be exactly the same as 32 pi over 3. So, can I solve anything there? Oh, sorry, Have I missed? Oh, I've missed my flipping H off here. Oh, I tell you what, I'm having an absolute nightmare. Do you see this bit here? 32 divided by 3. I've missed my little h off there, pi h. So sorry, just squeeze that in there, pretend that didn't happen there. Okay, apologies for that. Right, so we've got b squared h over 3, 32 pi h over 3. Can I solve this equation? Well, a good thing to do straight away might be to recognise that I've got something over 3 equal to something over 3. So surely that's going to mean that these tops have got to be the same. So that's going to tell me that b squared h has to be equal to 32 pi h. Has to be, right? Something over 3 equals something over 3. So those two things have got to be the same. Next thing, let's get rid of these h's. Divide both sides by h. So I end up with b squared equals 32 pi. And now actually I can solve that, because 32 pi is just a number. So if I want to work out what b is, I'm just going to square root both sides. So b is going to be equal to the square root of 32 pi. Bang that into my calculator. Here we go. Square root of 32. Let's get my pi up, shift, and then it's my pi button just down there. And that's going to come to 10.026 ... centimetres. And that's asked me to work out the length of the base of the pyramid, so that looks good to me. I reckon I've done that. But the fun doesn't stop there, unfortunately, with this question. I'm getting a bit sick of these volume ones now, because we get this. The total volume of the spike, that's the cone and pyramid together, is 335.1 centimetres cubed. Calculate the total length of the spike from the tip of the cone to the bottom. So essentially the 2h and the h there. Right, how on earth are we going to do this? Well, we now know what the base is, and we know what the total volume is altogether. So is that gonna help us in any way? So let's get our let's add our total volumes together of these, because we know the numerical value of that now. So let's get me total volume, and we've got our volume of our cone, and that's going to be 32 over 3 pi h, so that's 32 over 3 pi h. We don't know what pi and h are just yet. So that's my volume of my cone. Plus, what was my volume of my pyramid? Well, we had that there as b squared h over 3 plus b squared h over 3. Now, the good news there is I know what b squared is now. So that's at least going to give me something to work with. So I have 32 pi h over 3 plus b squared. Well, I'm just going to leave that for accuracy. Do you see that down there? B squared as 32 pi. So I'm going to put that as 32 pi h over 3. So 32 pi h over 3. Now, wait a minute. If you're thinking, well, those two look the same. Well, of course they're the same. It's told us before that they're the same area. So that's good news. Sorry, same volume. So I've got 2 pi h over 3 plus 32 pi h over 3. I reckon that's just going to be 62 pi h over 3. So that's going to be my total volume, because I know that they've got to be the same as each other. So I've got a total volume of 62 pi h over 3. Now I know that that total volume has to be equal to 335.1. So 62 pi h over 3 must be equal to 335.1. So once I know that, I've just got an equation that just needs solving to get me my answer. So how am I going to solve it? I'm going to times by 3 first. So I'm going to get 62 pi h equals 3 lots of 335.1. Then I'm going to divide by 62 pi. And notice I'm going to save this to do all in one. So I've got 3 lots of 335.1, and I'm going to divide the whole thing by 62 pi. And that, fingers crossed, is going to give me my answer for h, which is going to be all but one step away from getting my final answer. So 3 lots of 335.1 divided by, and I'll tell you what, I'll just put that on a fraction, just so it looks a bit more like what we've got. 3 lots of 335.1 on the top, divided by 62 lots of pi on the bottom, and that's going to be equal to 5.1612 ... Now that's my h. So that's h equals that, but it's asked me for the total length of the spike. From the spike to the top tip. So that's 2h and a h. So tip of the cone to the top of the pyramid. So that's 3h. So I need 3h is going to be equal to 3 lots of 5.1612 ... Keep that on my calculator. Times it by 3. Press me equals, and I end up with 15.4837 ... centimeters. I'll tell you what, I'm glad to see the back of that question, but it was quite a decent one. You just had to have a fair bit of insight to know what was going on there with that, and you had to know all your formulas and just set your work out as neatly and as clearly as you possibly could. So there you go.